I think it's the same. Like I read a study where I think it was 44% of Gen Zers and millennials would rather be unemployed than be in an unhappy job. And I think it's just they're a lot more vocal about what everyone else thinks. I do explain it if you go to a restaurant and you have your food comes out and it's really salty, you will have people on the table that will say, oh, when the waiter comes, everything is so fine, it's great. And you will have people that say, you know what, my food is actually salty, can you just bring it back and bring me a new plate? It's just being vocal of what we've purchased is what you wanted to get.
Hey there, and welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast. If you're looking to get more sales, more customers, master your marketing, and ultimately take control of your retail or e-commerce business, then you're in the right place. I'm Selena Knight, a retail growth strategist and multi-award-winning store owner whose superpower is uncovering exactly what your business requires to move to the next level. I'll provide you with the strategies, the tools, and the insight you need to scale your store. All you need to do is take action. Ready to get started?
In this session, we've got Kim Zorn, the Global Performance Director at Princess Polly, and she is going to help me and you guys decode Gen Z. I've been looking forward to this session for so long because maybe I can stop swearing at the Gen Zs, my prefix to Gen Z always comes with a swear word. So Kim, tell us a little bit about what Princess Polly does and your role at the company.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm Kim, Global Performance Director at Princess Polly. Princess Polly is a big online fashion company founded around 10 years ago on the Gold Coast. Now we're a global brand, really well known in the US, just expanded to the UK, and have a big audience all around the world.
Congratulations. And what's your job at Princess Polly?
Yeah, so I oversee the paid performance of Princess Polly. So I oversee around 20 channels, wow, which includes paid social, paid search, CRM, affiliate marketing, MarTech, and analytics.
Fantastic. And who is your target market?
Gen Z.
Is it a Z or is it a Z? All right, Gen Z. If anybody here is over the Gen Z era, they probably assume the same thing that I do, which is these guys are the most fickle generation ever. So I want you to tell me about, is brand loyalty even a thing for them? Do they even care?
Interesting question. They definitely do care, but they align themselves with brands that they can identify themselves with, that listen to their customers, and that also are big on customer loyalty. So Gen Z is really driven by brand values and by the experience and by customer service and by our loyalty program. So a study actually found that 66% of Gen Zers, or Gen Z, whatever you want to call them,
the young'uns.
The young'uns, they are loyal if you do things right, big factors like quality. What's the product quality that you're offering? What's the customer service What's the shipping speed? And what experience do you give your customers?
Can we dig into there about quality? We've talked a lot today about customer experience and people being prepared to pay more for customer experience, but also that quality of goods. Now, the Gen Zers, are they high spenders to begin with?
I mean, it depends what product you offer, but they definitely spend a lot with you. We have really loyal customers. We have a loyalty program, which has 4 tiers, and we have a really high spending tier. And these customers spend a lot with us. They're fans, they're loyal, but they're there for the experience. We have great perks. We have a Facebook group. We have customer priority service, and we have great perks, and we give them polls. We even let them decide, we're hey, we're dropping some new merch. What do you like better, product A or product B? And we let them vote, and that's what we're going to launch.
Okay, let's come back to perks. I want to go back to product quality and price. How fickle are they? What is the tipping point of they care more about price? Because we're talking fast fashion. They want speed, they want what's up to date, they want what's trending. They're not really thinking long term. So that has to be reflected somewhere in what they're prepared to spend, whether it's with you or anybody else. So I'm not talking a monetary value, not a dollar value, but what is the tipping point to when they feel like a product is not worth a price for them?
Oh, interesting question. I think for us as a brand, you obviously need to make sure that your quality matches the price. I think there's nothing worse, and I think it's not only for Gen Z, for all of us, to pay a price for a product and then receive it and it's bad quality and you're like, why did I just spend $100 on that? And that happened to me a lot with like other brands or where it's just like, oh my God, I thought I get that product and I didn't get it.
It looks so good on the model.
Yeah. You're like, oh, it looks great. And then you just order it and you're like, oh. But yeah, I think for us, the tipping point is like, we make sure we constantly improve our quality. We collect product reviews. When someone returns it, we ask like, why do you return it? What was it quality? Was it because you changed your mind? Was it because you imagined it to be in a different fit to what the image showed? Like, we collect data and we make it better for the customer. So if they get our product and they pay the price, they know it's like quality and optimized.
So do you think, I said the word fickle, do you think they're fickle there with quality? With that expectation, do they expect that if it ticks 9 out of 10 of their boxes, that's still not good enough?
Like, it depends. Like, I think like every generation we have people where they're like, you know, if one doesn't tick the box, like they're like gone. But our customers, they just know what they get. Like, our loyal customers know what they expect and what they get, and they know it's quality. They know it's super fast. And yeah, like, I think it's important to like always collect that feedback and make sure that you're gonna tick all of their 10 boxes.
Do you think then that, because you've got a lot of experience, and I'll have to say, I feel very old saying I don't understand how they think. In your experience, do they return stuff more? And I ask this because as someone who buys online, I'm really lazy at returning stuff. Like, unless the returns process is stick it back in the bag and someone will come and collect it, I end up just giving stuff away because I missed the return period and it's just in the all too hard basket. Do you think that they are more inclined to return a product if they're not happy, or do they expect what I expect, which is really ease of use for them to be able to return a product?
They expect easy returns, and we do make it really easy for them. Like, we have a really easy and satisfying return process to make sure that in case they do want to return something, they can.
Love that. All right. Now, again, stereotypically, Gen Zers are said to be quite entitlers. And I know my recent experiences with trying to hire some of the Gen Zers is we hired somebody to come and work with us next week, and then when we confirmed, they just told us they've gone to Europe. Europe seems to be a big thing for the Gen Zers right now. One of my other clients, same thing, sent me a text message, we're going to Europe, we won't be in at work next week. Do you think that there is this air of entitlement through the Gen Zers? And if so, what is driving that?
I do read a lot of articles that say, like, you know, Gen Z is really entitled. I do strongly disagree. I think they're just a lot more vocal about what they want and what they deserve. I feel like...
Why do they deserve it more than any other generation?
They're like... I think it's the same. Like, I read a study where, like, I think it was 44% of Gen Zers and millennials would rather be unemployed than be in an unhappy job. And I think it's just like they're a lot more vocal about what everyone else thinks. Like, I do explain it like if you go to a restaurant and you have your food comes out and it's really salty, you will have people on the table that will say, oh, when the waiter comes, like, oh, everything is so fine, like, it's great. And you will have people that say, like, you know what, my food is actually salty, like, can you just bring it back and bring me like a new plate? It's just being vocal of like what you've purchased is what you wanted to get. And you have that with Gen Zers as well. Like, they are really vocal about, like, you know, like work-life balance. I'm sure everyone here, like everyone that listens to that is like, I want to have a good work-life balance. Like, they just like really vocal about like, you know what, I want a good work-life balance. And like, I want to bring my dog to work. I don't think my mum would have ever asked their employer to like be like, can I bring my dog to work?
But like, to go off topic a little bit, you said just a moment ago that, what was it, 44% would rather be unemployed than have a job that they didn't like. So who's paying for them?
Yeah.
Like, who is funding them buying their clothes and their food and putting fuel in their car? Like, I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but it's like, toughen up, princess. This is part of life.
I know. I think
why is it okay for them to... What has happened, I guess, in society where that is an okay attitude?
I think for us, like, and we do hire a lot as well, I think there's just a massive shortage in the market at the moment where people can choose where they want to work. I've read another article the other day, and it's like, so many baby boomers, they go into like, they retire at the moment. There's not enough Gen Zers and like the new generation that goes into the job market. So we have a massive shortage, and you hear it everywhere. You're like, I'm from Germany. I talk to my family a lot in Europe, and everywhere there's a shortage. And
because they don't want to work.
and it's like, it's at the moment, I feel, and I say that all the time, like there was a point, like I've been in the industry since 10 years. When I advertised a job, like there were hundreds of applications. And at the moment, I feel like and every brand and every company has the same issue.
Everywhere
you need to
around the world.
the staff. And I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. I think it just holds us all accountable to make sure, like, you know what, when you offer 8 to 4, like, you're going to work 8 to 4, and you deserve that work-life balance, and you deserve to, like, you know, knock off at 4 and like have a walk on the beach. So I think they're just like a lot more vocal about like what they think is right.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier perks. You've kind of just touched on perks there, being an employer. What do they want as a perk? Is it cash off? Is it free shipping? Is it being that, like, having the status that comes with VIP customers? Like, what is it that they actually value?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think when we started our loyalty program, we asked customers what they want, because I've seen it a lot. Like, you know, everyone gets together and they're like, this is what my customer wants, and you assume things about your customers without actually asking them. So we asked our customers, what do you want from a loyalty program? They're very vocal. So we basically, they're like, you know, we want to have like perks. We want to have like discount codes. We want to have like birthday rewards. We want to have like, their dream is to be featured on our Instagram account. So we made that a perk. We're like, you know, if you're in the second tier of our loyalty program, you can enter a monthly draw to be featured on our Instagram. And it's going off. Like, everyone loves it. They submit so many pictures. They follow up. They're like, hey, I've just submitted like a picture. Like, it would be so cool if I could win that. We have a festival giveaway. They love festivals. Like, Gen Z loves festivals. Our customers love festivals. So we have like a festival giveaway. We have like an exclusive Facebook group for our highest spenders and like our highest tiers, where they can ask us questions, and where we have polls about like what they want to see from us next, and like a really, like, we call it insider group, where they get really exclusive content, and they love that.
It feels like they're very self-centered. All of this conversation is revolving around them and only them. With that, the reason we're laughing about it, but what I'm thinking about it from a marketing perspective is if this is your target market, is that what you need to be thinking is, I have to make it not about the customer, but about that specific person, because what they want to be seen. Like, you know, I'm in my 40s. I really don't care about being featured on someone's Instagram, you know. So what they care about is they want the status. They want you to think about them in a certain way, and they want to be everywhere.
Yeah. Look, like, our customers, like, we're really lucky. Like, they're really about the community as well, not just themselves. Like, we have tons of like giveaways and like friend giveaways, and they can nominate their friends to deserve like to win like even like a restaurant voucher, or like, you know, we have like packages, and like we have a really unique community where they actually look out for each other, and you see that like in the Facebook group they connect with each other, and like they give each other tips, and like one girl, like, they post like, what should I wear for, you know, I have a beach date coming up, and then all these, like, the whole community, even though no one knows this person, like chimes in, and they're like, you know, I think you should wear this, or like, where's he gonna take you for dinner? Like, will it be like casual or like fancy? And then they give each other tips. So like, I feel like our customers are really like about the community as well.
hold on, let's just back up. They're on Facebook?
Yeah.
Can we just talk about that for a moment? Because I just realised as I said it, we don't expect them to be hanging out. That's old person land. Why are they on Facebook?
I think like Facebook shifted a bit for that generation. Like you use it for events and you use it for groups. I think that's it. And for me, I still use it to like update my family back home in Germany about like what I'm doing, and because my mum and my grandma both use like Facebook, so that's the only way to update them. But yeah, they use Facebook for like groups and events.
So they use the Facebook for the Facebook. Look how old I am. They use Facebook for that interaction. What do they use Instagram for?
Oh, like Instagram is like, I think it's now like really different between like there's Facebook, Instagram, there's TikTok. I feel like Instagram is still like a really personal thing for some, where they update like their stories, like stuff that they wouldn't really share on Facebook. Like, you know, you send your mum or your grandma like a picture on Facebook, but they most likely won't have Instagram, and you update your friends about your trips or what you're doing, or like things like that. So it's like kind of...
And how does that compare to TikTok? Because clearly I'm way too old, so I didn't mention TikTok. Isn't it really bad at 40? You feel like you are so over the hill. How does TikTok compare to those other platforms?
Okay, yeah, I'm a big fan of TikTok. Like I spend a lot of time, like the pandemic made me like...
What do you do on TikTok though?
I think TikTok is just...
What do you get out of it?
You just like get like all these videos, but it's like the algorithm is like tailored towards you. So I realized that like I started on TikTok and I scrolled through, and then my partner was like, oh, I want to have a look as well. And he took my phone, and all of a sudden I got all these random like videos about fishing, and like, so I was like, you're messing up my algorithm. You go and download your own TikTok, because mine is like puppies and dogs and like, you know, fashion. But yeah, his is like about fishing. So it's like really tailored content to you.
But what is your interaction on there? Is it just purely a thing to pass time, to see what other people are doing, or is it something you genuinely interact with? Because we talked about Facebook is where you have that conversation.
Yeah.
Is there conversation, you know, in air quotes, conversation on Instagram and TikTok?
There's definitely like conversation on Instagram and TikTok. I personally, like, I'm not really like conversating on TikTok. I just like scroll through and like engage like with the content in the form of a like, or I share it with like friends. I'm like, hey, look at this video, or like things like that. But yeah, I don't personally like engage. But yeah, people engage. Like there's this whole thing about like TikTok make me buy it, where like people share like genuine like reviews of products. And then now I recently went to a bookstore and I saw like TikTok recipes and like easy TikTok recipes. I'm like, okay, that's a thing now. So it's like a whole community, but it depends which algorithm you're in. Like, are you like more into food talk or beauty talk or fashion talk? Like, yeah.
Do you think TikTok is more about other people, whereas Instagram is more about them? So they use Instagram to say, look how amazing I am, or this is my life. Whereas TikTok is more voyeuristic, I guess?
Yeah, and the good thing about TikTok is I think TikTok came about, and like, while with Instagram, it's really hard to like reach a big amount of like, you know, following, or like if you post a video, you most likely get like similar views to what your following is. With TikTok, you can go viral overnight. Like I experienced this myself. Like I posted like a video about my puppy. It was just like, it was nothing. I just put it together. I woke up the next day, heaps of followers, millions of views. And I was like, oh, I had 10 followers yesterday. Like now I have like a lot. Like, well, how did that happen? And that doesn't happen on Instagram. You can't go from 10 followers to 40,000 followers overnight. It just don't happen.
And what does that mean to you? What do you take out of that? Like waking up and having 40,000 followers?
It literally did not make a difference. It was my dog. I was like, oh, you. Like,
but is the drive behind that more about, again, the status that comes with, wow, 40,000 people I actually care about my dog?
Yeah. No, I don't think it, like, it's like, I feel like TikTok is honestly like a space. I feel like Instagram is just really curated, and everyone tries, like you said, to have that perfect pose, the perfect outfit, like the perfect trip. Well, TikTok, you can be funny and you can dance. And that's when I said, when we launched first on TikTok, I brought the team in. I was like, hey, like, there's this thing called TikTok, and we can be funny and like silly, and like we can be creative. Well, you can still be creative on like Instagram, but it's much more curated and aesthetic and like, TikTok, you do like a funny dance and you can go viral overnight.
Okay. So do you leverage the different channels differently?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about more? If people are listening and they're going, okay, I'm not on TikTok, the Gen Zers are my market, how should I maybe spread my content out to hit them at different parts of their customer journey?
Yeah, so for us, TikTok, surprisingly, is like a big acquisition tool. We get a lot of new customers from like paid ads there as well, and also influencer marketing. People that follow us on TikTok would see like a lot of like influencer videos that we leverage. But it's both an acquisition and like remarketing channel, while I still feel like at the moment we get a lot of new customers through TikTok. The good thing about TikTok, which I get a lot of questions like, how do we even start? Like, do I need to have like high production video? And you don't. Like, most of our content there is filmed on an iPhone. Like, it's not high production companies that come in and like film a TikTok for us. It's literally just, iPhone content. And
do you feel that's different on Instagram? You have more polished stuff on Instagram?
We definitely have like, we wouldn't like at the beginning. Now we do leverage now actually a lot of TikTok content on Instagram. At the beginning though, like it was a transition for the team because you can do the dances and like you don't have to look like how your color of the feet looks and like how aesthetic it looks. I feel it's like a little bit blurry now. We, for example, use a lot of ads that work on TikTok. We also leverage that on other channels like Instagram. We recently run a TV campaign with like a TikTok ad style video. I think it's like you can leverage that TikTok content on other platforms as well.
So where does Facebook fit into there? Because we know that they're there to do family communication and to do this group engagement because that's not on those other platforms. So how do you adjust your marketing, or where in the buying cycle would you try and hit them on Facebook?
Look, like we're still on Facebook, but our prior is Instagram, TikTok, SMS, connected TV. Like Facebook is still important, but we are quite small on Facebook in comparison to like other channels.
Do they respond well to SMS marketing?
Love it. It's like,
and what
if done right.
I was going to say, again, back to this values question, do they value on an SMS something that is more about them, like a discount or the being featured, or is it purely like a focus on money, like free shipping?
SMS like is a hot topic. Like you obviously like there's a lot.
I love SMS marketing for any of the demographics.
Yeah, it's good if done right. So our SMS strategy, like when I launched SMS, I really wanted to be like an exclusive channel. Like, I absolutely did not want people to open their phone, see an SMS from us and go like, oh my God, like it's them again. I wanted to be like, oh my God, it's Princess Polly again. Like, what can I get?
I read that email last night. You didn't have to send me a text message as
well. Yeah. But like, I was at the hairdresser the other day and this lady was like, oh, what do you do for work? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm at Princess Polly. And she's like, oh my God, I love your SMS. And I was like, oh, can I ask why? And she's like, because I always get exclusive deals. So we have our channel, SMS channel, is an exclusive channel. If you sign up to it, you won't get the latest product drops. You will get exclusive deals that you can't get anywhere else. And we include like SMS and text also in our code. So when we say like, hey, you just unlocked an exclusive deal for all like SMS members, use code SMS20 for 20% off. They know that this is an exclusive offer just for SMS, and they get excited when they get SMS from us because they will get offers that you can't find on site.
Is it important to segment your database when you're doing SMS marketing, or do they all tend to respond in the Gen Z land to similar kinds of offers?
We do have some campaigns where we send what we call a blast, but we also have segmented a campaign. Like, for example, our SMS program is integrated with our loyalty program. Mm-hmm. So we can specifically send, SMS to like we call them Backstage Pass members and VIP members. and we can hit them with different offers than other members as well. But we can segment really granular there as well.
I think that's great because I'm assuming that you find, and it doesn't matter which demographic you're talking about, but those, we call them customer royalty, those top tier spenders, they don't value necessarily sale products. What they value is things like your new product launches or that exclusivity that comes with being a top tier spender. Is that what you find as well?
Yeah, our top tier members still value like a really exclusive discount. They do get like higher discounts when they reach a certain tier. But they're also, we just hit them with like an SMS that they unlock their like festival giveaway. And that's what was going off for us as well. Like everyone's like, oh, I want to win a festival weekend on Princess Polly. So yeah, we're like really dynamic with our messaging there as well.
How difficult / exhausting is it to keep up with all the things that are current? So things like festivals, there's a lot of festivals, right? Whether it's music or arts or culture or speedway, all those kinds of things. How difficult is it to keep up with that and then craft offers based on the festival that's coming up?
Yeah, I think for us, we're really lucky. We have a lot of Gen Zers working at Princess Polly.
That would make sense.
And we have a little update every week, what they give us, like what is trending for Gen Z. What is like...
That's awesome.
Languages. Like I'm not a native English speaker, so like, I have a hard time keeping up anyway. But they send us like new words. What is like trending and what TikTok trends is trending and what festival is coming up and like what's new in the Gen Z world. And we get that every week and it's great. I love to read it. I'm like, okay, like I'm getting old.
I was going to say, at what point do you feel old? But I think that is tapping into or having that target market as your employee team at the time is great. But tapping into them is a cost-effective way to be literally at the front of what's trending and being able to put it out to market really, really quickly.
I think for us, it's also really, really important to test a lot of channels. So I think like a lot of brands like struggled because like in the last 2 years because they focused on 3 channels. And if 2 of these channels don't work anymore, they have 1 left. We have a lot of channels that we can communicate with our customers. We have over 20.
Wow.
And we're really lucky that we can really be agile and shift to communication. SMS was a big one for us. And yeah, customers can also contact our customer service via SMS now as well to have that direct relationship with our customer service. But yeah, you need to be like really diverse in your channel mix.
And I'm assuming that speed for everything is crucial, whether it's speed of getting product out, speed of changing your market, speed of keeping up with the trends. How do you manage that as a person having to be across everything, everywhere, all the time in an ever-changing world?
You can't. That's because
it's exhausting just talking about it.
Yeah, I think that's just like the reality. Like you will never be across everything that's happening. I build sub-departments in my departments and I call them channel champions. So I have a channel champion for all these different channels and they provide channel champion reports every month that I can read. So with all the necessary for all the important updates that I need to be across. But yeah, the reality is you won't be able to keep up with everything. But if you have a really strong team around you and you build the structure within your team, you will have team members that make sure that, you're across really important updates and channel transitions as well.
And whatever festival's happening this week.
And when festivals, yeah.
I'm interested then with keeping up to date is difficult. So if you're going to put a product or an offer out to market, is there a specific way that you can test it? Or do you just go, we've got 20 channels, let's just chuck it out and see what sticks?
No, we can definitely test it. We do test a lot of different offers on different channels. We use different codes where we can exactly see which channel is driving a lot of new customers, which channel is driving a lot of new customers, what's a different AUV across different channels. We definitely test a lot, and I think that what makes a successful strategy is to take risks and to A/B tests and there are plenty of channels where I'm oh my God, that's going to be bloody great. And then we tested it and it was an absolute fail. And there are like heaps of channels, like we launched pretty early on TikTok, and everyone was like, oh, are you sure? Like, I don't think that's going to stick around. And we launched, and then the pandemic hit, and I'm like, great, we already have a head start, and that worked out. But yeah, I think like you need to figure out what works for your brand and what doesn't.
Awesome. So they're getting older, the Gen Zers. The 56% that actually do want to work have more money. As they start to realise that you have to be gainfully employed to have a specific standard of living and mum and dad aren't going to look after you anymore, do you think that they're going to grow out of this, to use my word, entitlement, your word, being very vocal? Do you think they're going to grow out of that as they get older? Or do you think that brands are going to have to adapt a lot as their customers get older, they become primary buyers and they're not prepared to change their attitudes?
Yeah, I think like brands definitely have to adapt. Like I think 30% of the population worldwide will be Gen Z. That's a huge population that you're missing out if you choose to ignore them. I think that brands have to adapt, and like one part of it like is to listen to customers, which I don't think is like a bad thing. It's just like instead of us sitting around the table and asking us what customers want, you just need to ask them and involve them and make sure that, you know, what you deliver is actually, up to standards as well.
I have a fun question for you.
Love that.
What's the difference between a Karen, which, do you know what a Karen is?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the difference between a Karen and a Gen Zer? Because they're both very, very vocal, but one is maligned and one is like, you go, girl.
Oh, my God. I don't know. I'm literally like, I'm not a native English speaker, so I didn't grow up with the whole Karen stuff.
But Karen's new. That's only a couple of years old.
Yeah. No, I honestly, I know that, you know, you think they're like really like entitled, but I honestly just think like they have lived through, you know, if you look at the last couple of years, like they lived through a pandemic, they saw struggle. Not that other generations didn't see the struggle, but you know, like things like working from home. It wasn't a thing. Like when I first entered the work world, now like everyone knows that this is an option because it was like working for 2 years. So when they ask like, are there working from home options? They just know that this is an option. Like it's just they're being vocal about like all these different things.
I feel like that might be the tipping point is I'm using the word entitled because I am in the Karen like category, whereas they see it's vocal. So they see for them being vocal is part of their generation. And if old people do it, you know, they should just shut up and know better. But it's interesting just being able to see it and say, actually, what's okay for them is not actually okay for us.
Yeah, I do think like it brings like a lot of like, in all honesty, like I have a lot of Gen Zers in my team. And they challenge me, and they challenge me to think different, and they challenge me to think out of the box, and they challenge the norm, which I love. Like, I love, like, having people on my team and, like, having a generation that challenges you as, like, a human and a brand and hopefully pushes you to do better.
Okay, so last question is, in terms of customer life cycle, and I'm also going to put in here employee life cycle because I feel like they're very closely aligned if they're your team and your customers. How long can brands expect the Gen Zers to hang around for, whether it's as an employee or as a consumer? Are they likely to move on to bigger and better things quickly, or do they actually like to hang around?
They do hang around if you make sure that, you know, like you have these brand values. Like, I think for Gen Z, as a huge part of like employment is also like, do you align with their values? Like, do you say you have a great work-life balance, but then they start the job and you work 12 hours and you have no life? Like, I think like you need to set the expectations for like as a brand, but also like as an employer to make sure that if you set these expectations, you can hold up to your own expectations, because this is where you're going to lose like talent and also customers.
If there's one thing that you wish that people in their 40s and above could take away from this conversation, what would it be?
That Gen Zers are vocal, and like I think it's a really misunderstood generation. Like I feel like many people think they're really entitled and they're like hard to work with, but I hope that people after that conversation maybe see the other side and think like, you know what, they're going to challenge me and I'm going to accept the challenge.
Time to embrace it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's a wrap. I'd love to hear what insight you've gotten from this episode and how you're going to put it into action. If you're a social kind of person, follow me at @TheSelena and make sure to leave a comment and let me know. And if this episode made you think a little bit differently, or gave you some inspiration, or perhaps gave you the kick that you needed to take action, then please take a couple of minutes to leave me a review on your platform of choice. Because the more reviews the show gets, the more independent retail and e-commerce stores just like yours that we can help to scale. And when that happens, it's a win for you, a win for your community, and a win for your customers. I'll see you on the next episode.